Frank is now in the fourth form taught by Mr. O'Neill in the school and befriends Patty Clohessy. He begins to see how poor the Clohessy family is and how sick Mr. Clohessy is when Frank spends the night at their house. The next day, Mr. Clohessy recognizes Frank as a McCourt and he connects him with his mom, Angela, as an old school friend. He recalls stories of Angela's dances. Later, Frank gets a job delivering newspapers for his Uncle Pat, but finds him drunken and constantly abusing him. He later meets an old man, Mr. Timoney, who gives him a better job for him reading. Turns out the job did not go so well as he has confrontations with another man for insulting his Uncle Pat. Later, they find out Uncle Pat is insane and goes to an insane asylum. Meanwhile, Angela has another baby, Alphonsus. Angela admits that she does not want any more children, but Malachi disagrees and says she is not committing to her wifely duties. After completing his confirmation at the church, Frank comes down with typhoid and is admitted to the hospital. It seemed like he was going to die, but he pulls through. During his stay, he meets a girl named Patricia Madigan, who is dying of diphtheria, and Seamus, an old man who helps clean the hospital. Frank is finally released from the hospital after his 11th birthday and is disappointed that he could not advance up to the 6th form with his friends. In order to show his advanced skills, he writes an essay about Jesus as if he had grown up in Limerick, and the essay impresses Mr. O.D. so much that Frank is moved to the 6th form. Elsewhere, nearby families are sending their men off to England to work on the war effort. Malachi decides to go with them, promising to support the family financially, but never does. He just ends up spending the money drinking and going to the bar. Eventually, Angela falls sick and turns feverish. All of a sudden, a guard arrives at their home to understand why the boys have been absent from school so much. The guard tells them to stay with their Aunt Aggie for the time being. But she is very much abusive, with constant yelling and hitting. However, Uncle Pa has great times with the boys by the fireplace with hot tea. Soon enough, Angela comes home, but in a weak state. She goes out begging one last time at the church, and Frank is devastated to see her as a beggar.